Batman Superman number 5, written by Greg Pak, art by Brett Booth. This is a book that is told in landscape format, meaning I have to hold this whole trade horizontally the whole time, and I can't even begin to tell you how frustrating it is to read this book. So we open up, Batman and Superman are off doing their own things, and Superman is flying off into space to save the world from asteroids, and because he's busy with that, he's called in Batman to fight against Metallo, who's shown up, and he just keeps checking in on the comms, just being like, hey, Bruce, you good over there? He's like, stop calling me Bruce. We're in costume. I'm Batman. And he's like, okay, sorry, Bruce. So Superman's off fighting the asteroids. We see Batman fighting against Metallo, and he's like, yeah, I'm just a guy in a bat suit, so this is actually like not easy for me, but I'm really good at planning. So I got one up on him, and he manages to shock Metallo, take him out. And Superman's just perched on a gargoyle nearby. He's like, hey, yeah, I watched you the whole time. Good job. He's like, shouldn't you be fighting asteroids? He's like, yeah, I took care of that. So at that point, Batman takes off because he keeps on calling him Bruce. And Superman goes to get Metallo, but then Metallo just disappears. And then we cut over to the Toy Master game shop in Gotham. And we meet this man named the Toy Master, who's playing a VR video game where he's like, oh my god, I just fought Batman and he totally kicked my ass. And the programmer's like, yep, and that's the game. It's all part of my new chip. It's a neuro connection tech, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I don't even care. This game is going to be awesome. You're going to be able to fight Batman or Superman. By the way, shouldn't we set up a whole thing of fighting Batman against Superman? Wouldn't that be awesome to see? And he's just like, yeah, totally. I guess we could do that. So we see the asteroid dust is still coming out of the sky. And as it burns up in the atmosphere, there's a tiny seed that immediately plants itself, turns into a plant, and then like spores fly out, seemingly right into Wayne Manor. So Bruce is there punching a punching bag saying like, God, that's Superman. Every time I hear his voice, he annoys me. I get he's doing good, but like, I don't like him. And then he inhales some of the spores and then knocks down the punching bag. All of a sudden, Superman, who is currently talking to Sam Lane, hears the average heartbeat across the entire eastern seaboard increase by 3%. And he's like, sorry, General Lane, I gotta go take care of something because that's not normal. So we see the Toy Master, whose real name is Hiro Okamura. He is now like, okay, the games are no fun single player, so we're going to spread this to a multiplayer. I've got a closed beta with 2 of my close friends and Jimmy Olsen, because Jimmy Olsen is rich and he apparently funded this project for a while. And so they're all basically group taking care of just one character and using all their talents to fight against Batman. So we see them, Batman and Superman are out patrolling the town, and Superman's like, hey, Batman, are you okay? And he's just like, yeah, why? He's like, well, Metallo disappeared. And he's like, you lost Metallo after I beat him up. God, you suck. Click. And Superman's like, well, fine. If he's going to be like that, I don't even want to hear from him. So Batman goes to the place where Metallo was fighting. Nightwing is there, and he's like, Nightwing, my old friend, my old chum, my only person that I like hearing over the comms, unlike Superman. And Nightwing's like, hey, you fought Metallo here. They call him Metal Zero because he doesn't have the name Metallo yet, but like, it's Metallo. So he says, yeah. Weirdly, though, all the bullet holes are still here, but none of the bullets are. And Nightwing says, oh, here, I've got this scanner that might help you. And Batman says, let me have it. And then Nightwing punches him. And we see that Nightwing isn't actually Nightwing. He's under the control of these 4 gamers. And it is a whole thing where they're treating it just like a video game because they don't know that this is the real Batman. They think this is a video game with like updated tech and whatnot. So Nightwing starts flying because I guess the programmer thought that Nightwing flew. And that's when Batman realizes like, wait a minute, you're not Night. Who the hell are you? So he starts trying to fight against Nightwing. And Jimmy Olsen and Co. are basically like, okay, well, if we're fighting against Batman trying to kill him, that means we're technically villains. So let's just mess around a little bit. And they see that Hero's apartment, or where it should be in the video game, is right across the street. So they fly Batman through the window of that. And that's when Hero realizes, oh shit, this isn't a game. it's actually happening. You just busted into my window. But none of the other gamers believe that's a fact. They just keep on saying like, this is the most self-referential stuff I've ever seen. So he then tells Batman where Nightwing's built-in weaknesses are. So Batman's able to take out Nightwing, and then the hologram sort of just disappears the same way that Metallo did. So then Batman yells at Hero like, who are you? What are you doing? And he's just like, I made a video game. I thought it was fake, but it turns out it's real and we're in the real world. And Batman's like, all right, fair enough. Where's the console? And he just walks over and goes to shut it down. But as he does so, there's a rumble, and Heroes looks over and sees the programmer there. Her name is Agnes. And he's just like, okay, Agnes is here. And Agnes is like, please put the console back down, Batman. It's very important. And she's just like, what? No, Agnes, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, the building just starts like exploding from the sky. And showing up in the room is Mongol. And Mongol's like, hey, Batman. And Batman's like, hey, Mongol, remember when Superman kicked your ass? And he's just like, yeah, I remember that, Batman. Thank you for that. Anyway, I thought that superheroes on your plane. He just immediately goes off into a monologue. And he explains that he thought that superheroes were the driving force, the biggest threat to humanity or whatnot. Turns out it wasn't. He looked at gamers, and he saw that gamers spent all their time fighting, wanting to fight, or thinking about fighting, and strategizing. And so if he were able to take the gamers and actually weaponize them, they would be an unstoppable force, hundreds of millions strong. And so Hero steps up saying, what? No, it's a game. It's just a game, you moron. And Mongol says, not anymore. And there's a big bright light. And in the very last panel, we see Batman down on the ground, hole in his chest, calling out for Superman for help. Here's the thing. There's no reason for this to be landscape. There's not a single like story reason as to why. The cover of this one happens to also be landscape, but the covers for the rest of the arc are not, and yet they will continue to be in landscape. It's so inconvenient to read in just every single way. I can't even begin to express that. So yeah, it's not good to read, but then how's the story itself? And the answer is tongue-in-cheek. Like, it's poking fun at the fact, like, we have Hero's friends all like in these little bubbles of holograms that no one else can see. And like, as they are doing this gamer story while Mongol's explaining his plot, they're chiming in with like, what is this anti-gamer BS? What are you, running for Congress or something? And I get it. I understand it. I don't like it. Maybe that's just personal taste. I just don't like it. Brett Booth art, also not great. It's just kind of mediocre all around. So all in all, I'd say this is probably, for me personally, 4.5. It's just, I'm not liking this, and it's got like 4 issues in total before we get back to normal, like out of this style book and done with this arc. Maybe we can turn it into something good by the end, but like, I'm not holding my breath.